Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to the third month of Tuesday Talk with Dr. Yaz. That's right, it's Tuesday. It's time to talk about it. Welcome again to the third month, the fourth Tuesday of May 25th. It's 8 p.m. and it's time to talk about it. Coming live from the Middle Georgia area. We are about 3 days away from Memorial Day weekend. It is hot and the heat is on. It has been a hot day. But hey, I won't complain. I'd rather be a little hot than a little cold. And I love wearing my sandals. So welcome and thank you all for joining in with us on tonight. I am Dr. Yasmin World, high school counselor, no stranger to this area, coming live from the Middle Georgia area. Be sure to like and share this video. My purpose for this monthly virtual talk show is just to bring hope to the world and to share resourceful tools for people to progress through life. There are resources and people with a wealth of knowledge to help us achieve and overcome and to be successful in this journey of life. This virtual talk show, again, it airs the fourth Tuesday, the last Tuesday of each month at 8 p.m. Again, be sure to like this video and to share this video. Thanks again for tuning in and joining in with us on tonight. Some acknowledgments. Mr. Reginald Holloway Sr., he's my brother-in-law. He produced the music in the intro and outro video. He's on Facebook, Holloway Productions. Check him out. Mr. Victor Williams, Majestic Graphics. He created the graphic for me. Royalty Rain Consulting and Design. They created the intro and outro video. They're also on Facebook. Mrs. Christy Drigger, she's an educator. She did the pics that you see embedded in the video. She has a passion for taking pictures. That's sort of like her part-time hustle. She's on Facebook as well. Okay. Our topic for tonight is real estate. That was a topic that I wanted to highlight on this show. We have a panel of 3 Middle Georgia giants who can sell, who can buy, who can flip houses and connect people and family with homes. They make it happen in the Middle Georgia and throughout the state of Georgia. I'm going to go through their introductions and we're going to get started. We're talking about real estate on tonight. Our first panelist is none other than Mrs. Tiffany Green, representing Dublin, Lawrence County and Middle Georgia homeowners and future homeowners. That's right, future homeowners. The customer or client needs and concerns are her number one priority, and keeping God first. Raised in the Montrose, Georgia area, Lawrence County, Miss Green understands the benefit of communication, and has over 16 years of real estate, management, and customer service skills. Miss Green enjoys her husband of 24 years and 3 sons. Miss Green graduated from West Lawrence High School, class of 1995, received a diploma in criminal justice from Central Georgia Technical College. She also attended Middle Georgia Real Estate Academy. Miss Green's customer service skills and entrepreneur skills have been well known in the Lawrence County area for over 16 years. Mrs. Green has chosen to align her real estate business, Excel Realty Group, LLC, with one of the Middle Georgia leading real estate brokers, Keller Williams Realty, Middle Georgia. As an associate broker representing one of the most dynamic real estate brands in the country, you can expect the utmost professionalism and dedication to all of your real estate needs. Welcome to the show tonight, Mrs. Green.
Thank you. Thank you.
Miss Arizona Williams White. Miss White humble pursues her purpose daily as a mother, a business professional, entrepreneur, servant leader, and licensed and ordained minister of the gospel. She passionately lives out her unique calling to inspire, empower, equip, and transform lives in the marketplace and in ministry. She is the broker, owner of Gateway Realty and Insurance Professionals. She is a licensed real estate broker and a licensed health, life, accident insurance broker. Ms. White also owns Mind's Eye Business Solutions, a marketing and business development firm where she offers business and nonprofit startup services and business and ministry training and workshop facilitation. Her other business ministry venture includes the Virtuous Woman Boutique, the Virtuous Woman Planner, the Anchor Planner, and she is the founder of the nonprofit ministry, the Phoenix Project. Welcome to the show, Miss White. Miss White serves on so many committees. I know she played a big part in the recent Pan African Festival in Macon. I had opportunity to go and serve as a vendor. Great event.
Thank you. Thank you.
And lastly, our last panelist introduction for tonight is none other than Mr. Edward Tyrone Turner. He is the father of two beautiful adult daughters, Tierney and Journey. He is the CEO of Eternal Construction and Eternal Enterprises. He is a graduate of West Lawrence High School, Lawrence County. He pastors Kingdom Living Church in Dublin, Georgia. He travels the state of Georgia conducting seminars, building, selling, and flipping houses. He has served on the platform of the Full Gospel Baptist Church Fellowship International and Creflo Dollar Ministries. He has a keen eye for entrepreneurship, a passion for teaching the gospel of Jesus Christ, and principles to bring anybody out of debt. If you want to know how to come out of debt, how to become economic developer, he is the man to help you get that job done. Welcome to the show, Mr. Turner. How you doing?
I'm well. I'm well. Glad to be here.
So glad to have you all tonight. So let's talk about it. Let's get into the topic of real estate. Before I go through the questions, I want to share some statistics. I always like to share statistics about the topic. It says, according to the Statistical Research Department 2021, it says in 2020, there was 6.5 million homes sold in the U.S. That's a lot of homes. And this figure was projected to increase to 7.1 million by 2021. Moving along, it says, according to Global U.S. Guide 2021, it says U.S. home builder sentiment is now at its highest for 35 years. According to Fit Small Business website, 40.6% of people under 35 years are homeowners. Last statistic, it says according to Fit Small Business, millennials, they were born between 1981 through 1996, make up 73% through 75% of new buyers in mid-sized towns, Madison, Wisconsin, and Grand Rapids, Michigan. Real estate. My first question is, why is the real estate market so hot? What caused the peak? When I'm driving, listen to the radio, social media. This is what I see in yours now. For sale, for sale, for sale, for sale, sold, under contract. Boom, seeing people being excited. Hey, I purchased my first home. What's causing that trend to be at a peak, which is a good thing?
Yeah. Well, I'll dive in if anyone else wants to go first. Well, what caused this peak? Well, you think about the fact that we have record low interest rates on mortgage loans. So that is the driving force behind this peak and this demand in real estate. And then when you look at the law of supply and demand, supply is extremely low, demand is extremely high. And so it's shooting the prices of homes up higher than ever. The average price of a home has increased by at least 18.4% since last year. And so the house that I could have gotten for $200,000 last year is now $220,000, $225,000. And we're seeing such demand that there are 15 to 20 or even more offers on one single home. And so sellers are excited, but unfortunately buyers are being sometimes disappointed because the demand is so high and the competition is so great.
That's great.
Low interest rates.
What
are some other reasons that the real estate market is just so hot besides the low interest rate?
Well, one of the things that I see is that a lot of military people are taking advantage of the VA loans, which is 100%, which helps a buyer, especially in this market today, because most people, when you're purchasing a home, the bank lends 80%, if you're doing new construction. But of course, if you're doing if you're doing existing homes, you're looking at least 100% for VA, 96% for FHA, based on your credit. So I think that's another driving force. I'm seeing a spike in the VA, and I think also too, because it's driven the market up and their demands on houses. There are less houses to be purchased,
Right.
which I think that is creating another a trend for people to buy. So those are 2 points that I see that is driving along, of course, with the interest rates.
Okay.
And it's definitely a seller's market right now, and the low interest rate has really helped the team. So it's the sellers are taking advantage of this market.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So just estimated time. I put a house on the market, connect with the real estate agent. What's the shortest time frame you've seen of selling a house, putting a house on the market, somebody seeing it, they want to buy it, going through those steps, close, it's a done deal? What's the shortest time frame you've seen?
And if they're
Wow.
qualified, not pre-qualified, but qualified, a matter of 2 to 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. The national record is 18 days.
Oh,
According
wow.
to the National Association of Realtors, the national record is 18 days on market, which is unbelievable. I mean, and I can just speak from experience. I put a house on the market today. I've got offers tomorrow. It's under contract within a day. I mean, that's
what?
Just
within a day?
Within a day.
Wow. That's a quick turnaround.
Yes,
Okay.
so it's under contract very quickly, but of course, there's that process time for the lender to process the loan, but under contract normally within a day or two.
Mm.
And I think it's going to depend also, how fast, what attorney you use, what lender you use. That plays a large part in getting that deal done quickly. And you got to have somebody that's aggressive enough to understand your momentum and what you're trying to get accomplished. And I think that helps the speed up of the closings.
That's
okay. Good information. My next question is first-time home buyers, someone that may be in an apartment, they may be renting a home, or they may be living with someone and say, hey, they're ready to transition and make that step to purchase their first home. What do they need to know to make that possible?
Call me.
Ooh, that's why I said call me. Call Miss White, call Miss Green, call Miss Turner.
I'll jump in.
To call me.
I like
that. I think well, I think the first thing is of course, if somebody's trying to transition is that you need to do a report. You need to look at what you're able to afford. So you need to do a pre-qualification first. To determine that. And I always add this, even though lenders go off of your gross income, I focus more on the net, but of course the gross is what sells the house as far as lenders are concerned. But be vigilant, make sure that you are being responsible and you're not overextending yourself, even though you can qualify for the loan. But I think the first thing you do is simply just get pre-qualified to see what you can do, see what your credit score looks like, see what rate you have, and then begin to start going from there before you go to even a realtor, because they're going to want to know if you're ready to go. If you're not ready to go, then you're wasting time. You're wasting the realtor's time, and time is valuable now.
Yeah. Well, I certainly agree with you, Pastor Turner, but I actually look at it a little bit differently. I say call me because I do always start out with the consultation with my clients. I always start with that credit report, and I ask them, give me a copy of your credit report. Let me take a look at it, see what you're working with. So if you're not there, I can show you how to get there. I can show you what things you need to take care of on your credit report. If you have delinquencies or collections or, past due activity on there, I show them what to do step by step to get prepared. So I begin that relationship even prior to them getting pre-qualified. And I certainly understand other agents doing it that way because it does make sense. And that's what we're really taught to do. But I just believe in helping a person from point A to point Z, because a lot of people don't know what to do. And so I try to educate my clients along the way so that they know what credit score they need to get to. They know, what items they need to get off of their credit report before they can purchase a home. I also tell them how to manage their bank account so that they're not getting overdrafts and things like that on their bank statements, because that's another trigger that will cause them not to get pre-approved. I work with them on their budget. And we're blessed in our community to have Operation Hope, which is a nonprofit organization where people can go to get the free help with credit, free budgeting help. And so we partner. We actually have an Operation Hope representative on our team that we work diligently with to help our clients get the budgeting, get the credit piece together. And then we all work as a team to get them to the table where they can meet with a lender to get that pre-approval and into the home buying process. So we start from the budgeting and the credit piece long before we even start looking at houses or getting them pre-approved for mortgages. So that's why I say call.
Well, let me piggyback on that just for a second.
Okay.
And we actually start there as well.
Definitely.
I just gave you we actually start there as well. But but from a standpoint of what do you do, get pre-qualified. And you're right. I've got about 20 years as a mortgage broker, licensed mortgage broker, in multiple states. And that's what we do. Just because you don't meet the benchmark now, our goal is just to work with you to help you develop and understand what those benchmarks are, so that you can make that transition. I don't turn anybody down. I'll look at their credit, and if you really want a house, if anybody knows me, I'll put you in a house. If you really want a house, but I'm not going to put it with the sacrifice of yourself. I want to make sure that you got the right house, you qualify, and you can afford it, because that's what's happened. The 2008 predatory lending, when the real estate market crashed. They were on subprime loans, and subprime loans were out there. People didn't care, and they just sell your loan and create. You create an income. It could be stated income, but the problem was when those loans come to adjustments, the income didn't adjust, which caused a crash. And so many people went under as a result of that. And I'm hoping that we understood and then learn from that. And now when we go back in, we educate ourselves and educate the people that we're dealing with that want a house so bad, but don't do it without sacrificing your whole family. And I think that's the key right there in being able to be safe.
Right. I absolutely agree with that. Education and compassion. That's what we lead with at Gateway, education and compassion. So we're definitely on the same page with that.
Great dialogue. With first-time home buyers, great information in terms of a consultation to see where you're at with your credit and other things, getting a pre-qualification, being pre-qualified by a bank or maybe a mortgage company. Once they've done that, are there any programs available for first-time home buyers to possibly help with down payment or closing costs, or is that something they'll need to come out of pocket for?
Yeah, there certainly are a number of programs available. You've got the Georgia Dream program for first-time home buyers, where they will get really all they have to bring to the table is $1,000 to put in the deal, and their down payment will be covered. Of course, they will have to cover their inspection cost. So there are some upfront costs that I always tell them to be prepared for. Your inspection, you have to pay that out of pocket. That's typically about $400 that you're going to pay out of pocket to cover the cost of getting that home inspected from top to bottom. And then in terms of the down payment, we can use a Georgia Dream program that will cover the cost of your down payment, and you just have to put $1,000 into that transaction. There are other mortgage companies that do offer down payment assistance. Sometimes you have to be kind of just kind of be wise about using those type of programs sometimes, because sometimes you will see that your interest rate will be higher when you're using down payment assistance. So I always just kind of look at and compare apples to apples with my clients to show them the benefits and the some of the negatives of using some of those programs. But it's definitely a great way for people who don't have money saved up for a down payment to get into a home.
Okay.
And, yeah. And also USDA is a wonderful program for first-time home buyers, where they do the 100% with like 100% loan, but we try to ask the seller to pay the buyer's closing costs. If not, sometimes can be 100% financing. So that's a really great program using the USDA. And it don't have any, it is really good for the buyer.
It is.
And I want to piggyback on that. I am a fan of USDA. I know a lot of, as realtors, they're not as fast. So you're going to look for a 60-day turnaround because of the processing and dealing with the government paperwork. But here's the unique thing about USDA. Number one, you get a 33-year loan extended, which helps the affordability of the monthly payment. Number two, you have to have a 41% DTI, meaning that your income cannot exceed 41%. And then number three, you have the opportunity to have the lowest rate on the market, 2.25 right now. It's unheard of. And of course, what Tiffany said, 100% financing, it will happen. And I think it's a unique program. And then lastly, what is unique about it is, just say a buyer gets into problems and financially, it takes an act of Congress to foreclose on a house. I think we need to understand that because you can't just foreclose on a USDA. It takes about 6 months, and then they'll still work with you on trying to maintain that mortgage. But the key is they're not going to put you in jeopardy because your DTI cannot exceed 41%. So even though it takes 60 days and you got to go through the red tape, it's worth the red tape when you understand the ease of the process.
Right.
Pastor Turner, can you explain more with the USDA where you go?
Yeah.
Direct and versus going to directly to USDA, so the viewers understand that. Do you have more?
It is. Thank you, Tiffany. Yeah, of course, when you go to a lender, or bank that does USDA, you fall up under a little bit different guideline as relate to how they grade you, what the percentage points are, etc. So it's probably a little bit easier to go through them, but it's better for you to go USDA Rural Development Direct, which you go directly to the government to apply for the loan, and you go through your local extension agencies. I think the one in this area is Sandersville.
We've got Fort Valley.
Okay, yeah, Fort Valley. So each area has a different area. And one of the things let me highlight is that you can do up to $250,000 loan under USDA Rural Development based on your income. So it's graded differently, but I tell you, it's a great program. And of course, as Tiffany says, it is a difference between the two.
Yes. And we also want people to realize that with USDA, it has to be in a rural area. And it's a very specific, like one side of the street may be eligible and the other side may not be. So you just have to make sure that when you're working with your agent that they go directly to that USDA website and put the address in to make sure that that particular home is eligible for USDA. But it's certainly a great program.
One great thing about USDA in Lawrence County, all of Lawrence County qualifies for USDA.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Absolutely. They just actually brought it back to the city. And I tell you, it is a good program, and I'm really going to try to educate a lot of people on that that don't have that 20%, that 30% down.
That's right.
Because that's a large amount of money. If you're dealing with a $150,000, $200,000 loan, I mean that's a substantial amount of money.
It is, especially for a first-time home buyer.
Right. Great information. Moving on. Preparing to buy or build. Which is the better route? Or is one better than the other? Is it better to just purchase some land and build?
In
Or
today, go
buy?
ahead, I'm sorry. Well, in
Okay,
today's market, it is better to buy existing if you can.
if you can.
If you can. Most of the time, the problem now is buying existing. You can't find what you want, but come see me, and I will turn that house into your reality as a general contractor. And so we've done some unique things. Right, Tiffany? She sold a couple of
Right.
properties for us,
Yes.
and they were amazing. But building, you know, it's the cost is up. Let's just understand that. But
Right.
I will say this: even though the cost is up, maybe 15,000 to 30,000 increase, you still have that low rate on the market, which compensates for itself if you're going to have a longevity stay into your home. That's where you're going to make the difference up, and that's what makes sense when you build. That's if you can't find anything on the market that you like. So
Right.
I think that it's a catch-22. If you can find something that you like, then go to the agents. If you can't find something that you like, then you're going to have to go to build, and then I'm going to teach you how to go through that process of building and what to build and what square footage to build to stay within the numbers that you're trying to seek.
Well, in this market, I will say that most people are finding it challenging to find what they want already pre-existing. So right now it is, there are some advantages to going straight to a new construction property versus one that's already existing. Sometimes you can, you just go to a builder, sit down and tell them what you want. You get exactly what you want without having hassle in the competition of the pre-existing homes. So it's kind of six in one hand, half in a dozen in the other. So it just really depends on the individual circumstances.
My next question: second-time home buyers, more bang for the buck. Do I sell my home when I transition to another home, or should I rent my first home?
Well, if you want to.
Well,
Go ahead, Pastor Turner.
Well, I think that if it's your second time buying, you have to be wise to understand what your needs are, because the needs are, even though you're going to make a lot of money in your house, if you've got equity built up, if you've had it for a long time, you're going to take that equity if you're going to build and use a good bit of that equity to develop the new construction house. But however, I think that if you're trying to downsize, it may make sense at that point to sell your house to capture the equity that's into today's market, which may not be here. This market may not sustain itself over the next, say, 5-6 years. I don't know. We don't know when the market is going to come back down. That's just
You still there, Pastor Turner? I don't hear you.
Okay. Well, until he's able to come back in, I'll jump in.
Okay.
I would certainly say look at the numbers, because whenever you're going to get pre-approved, the lender is going to look at your debt to income ratio and tell you whether or not your income can sustain both properties. So if your debt to income ratio does not allow you to keep that property, they will tell you you've got to sell this property before you can purchase the next. So you have to write that contingency in your purchase contract saying that you have to sell before you can actually buy. So I would say, look, everything for me is by the numbers. So if your debt to income ratio will allow you to keep that first home, I would certainly say it would be more beneficial to you if you're able to get that home where it's rentable and you're able to get that additional stream of income from that rental property as you are moving on to your second home. So again, if your income allows you to hold on to both, then I would say definitely you want to build. The fastest way to build generational wealth is through real estate. So if you're able to maintain that first home as a rental property, that property, as long as you maintain it, then that property is going to appreciate in value. And that's going to be, equity for you. That's going to be an asset to you for yourself and even for the generations to come behind you. So, so I would, again, just say, look at the numbers. If you are able to hold on to both, then you hold on to that first home as a rental property, and you repeat that process. I tell people, once you buy your primary residential home, then begin to invest in rental properties so that you'll have that multiple. So everybody will always need somewhere to live. That's something that you will always need from here until kingdom comes. So rental property is the way to go to build generational wealth. So that is the goal. Get properties, because that's the way to have that long-standing income and wealth.
That's right.
Okay. You back with us, Pastor Turner?
Can't hear you.
I still can't hear you, Pastor. We can see you, but we can't hear you on this end.
Hey, he's talking.
You're talking away. Maybe check your volume. You probably can hear us, but we can't hear you.
Probably.
Maybe try logging out and logging back in again. Something going on.
I think he tried that.
Yeah, he did. He tried that.
Yeah.
We can't hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you want to chime in on that question, Miss Green?
Yes. With that, I would always have a plan, because if you sell your home, you don't want to use your equity renting. You want to you have to make a decision on what you want to do, rent, or do you want to buy your second home. You just don't want to consume all your equity into renting, because I had a customer did that about a year ago, where the market was really it's still high, but a seller's market, and all the profit that he's made has went into renting. And now the prices of construction has went up, so you have to always have a plan in place.
Pastor Turner.
Still can't hear him.
Oh, I hate that. He was bringing in some good information.
Yeah,
it's gonna get right. It's gonna get right, Pastor. Come back and try again. I got 2 more questions. What advice would you give someone looking to venture out into the real estate business? Someone that may have went to, real estate school, they have recently passed their exam to become licensed, or someone that may be brand new or may have been in it maybe for 5 to 10 years. What's some advice that you all could give them in getting started?
Well, it's a major move. So I always tell people to make sure you have savings before especially if you're going to venture out and it's going to be your full-time job. Make sure you have some cushion, you have some savings, because the thing about real estate, especially if you're coming from a 9-to-5 job where you're accustomed to getting a paycheck every 2 weeks, this is not that. This is not that. So I tell people, you want to make sure you have savings, and make sure that you know how to budget, because what you'll learn in real estate oftentimes is either feast or famine. And so you've got to learn how to budget during those great times. You have to be like the ant and store up some money, keep some money and save it, put some things aside and put in a savings account, an investment account, or what have you, so that when the market is not as great, you still have a way to sustain your family. So save is what I always tell people. Make sure that before you launch out, that you know how to save, you know how to budget, and that you have a plan, because it may be great today, but this market can turn at any given moment, and it can definitely not be as great. So you have to be able to ride the wave I got in the market. I got in the business in 2008 when it was the worst ever. and somebody told me, if you can make it through 2008 through 2010, you can make it. And thanks be unto God that I made it, but I knew how to budget and I knew how to save. So that's the key to this business.
Ms. Green?
That's definitely the key to this business, is knowing how to manage money. You're
Yes.
going to have peaks and valleys in real estate. Other realtors are doing, they think it's easy, but you definitely have to, it's your business, so you're going to have some money laid aside to advertise yourself. You got to do marketing. The broker is not, some of the brokers are not going to pay for it, so be prepared to market yourself in this business. It looks easy, but you got to know what that realtor is doing to be successful. That's with any business, to have great success. That's what a lot of realtors I'm finding that's new. It seems like they need to go over this more in a real estate course to explain the costs more of how to maintain this real estate business. But you definitely have to advertise in order to get business. You want to be known. Just you becoming a new agent, you got to put yourself out there. You want someone to know who you are. So you definitely have peaks and valleys in real estate. When you have that peak, you make sure you're saving, because there is going to be a valley.
Right. That's right. That's right.
Pastor Turner?
I still can't.
I don't know what's going on with your volume, and I'm definitely not a tech person at all. Because we see your
might have
energy.
to connect to the Wi-Fi in his house versus doing it in his phone.
Okay. Did you hear what Ms. White? Okay.
I wanted to add something else to that too.
Yes,
about
please.
A lot of people, as Ms. Green was saying, a lot of people they think it's glitzy and it's glamorous, and because all they see are the touched up pictures that we take, and they see us in front of the pretty houses, but it's more to it than that. It's not just about taking a lot of pictures, not just about showing off fancy houses. I mean, you've got to get down and dirty sometimes. I mean, you're selling houses sometimes that are not as glamorous. I mean, you've got to be able to go from a home that is busted and disgusted to something that is luxurious. I mean, you've got to be able to be flexible. You have to know how to work with people. You have to know how to let stuff roll off of your back, because people will love you today and hate you tomorrow. Just like I tell you, it's just like Jesus. The same people that cried out Hosanna are the same people that cried out crucify him. And that will be the same experience that you will get in real estate. Today they will love you, tomorrow they may hate you because of whatever. So you have to have tough skin. You have to know how to manage your business. It's not just a hobby. I mean, you have to know how to do accounting. You've got to wear multiple hats until you get to a place where you can hire people to do all the other areas of business. So like I said, people see the glitz and they see the glam, but they don't know behind the scenes. There's a lot of long nights where you're staying up till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, writing up contracts. You're having to stay abreast of new trends. There's always something new to learn. So you're constantly learning. You're constantly going to classes. You want to make sure that you're constantly staying in front of people. You have to make sure that you keep your name clean. I mean, so it's just so many things that people don't teach you about business, because your name is your business. And if your name is tarnished, your business is done. And so it's just so much that go, and that's why I love working with my agents, and I try to teach them everything that I could possibly think of. Everything that I did not learn, I try to teach them, because there's so much more to it than what you see in the pictures.
Right. It is not a reality show, what you see.
Exactly.
And I think that's why a lot of people want to get into the business, because of the reality show. Like, what this all about now?
Right.
I mean, I have people messaging me all.
Me too.
The time on Facebook, but it's into the business. So
It is. It
just
is.
be ready if you're gonna get in it. And then because you show a customer one house, they might not make an offer on that one house. You may have to show them 4 or 5 houses, and you have to have patience.
Or 20 or 30.
Or 20 or 30. And you know what? If you're gonna just give up that way, you don't need to be a real estate agent.
That's right.
You know?
You have to be tough. You have to know how to be flexible. Like
right.
You have to roll with the punches. Yeah.
Pastor Turner?
We're counselors also.
Yes.
You back with us, Pastor Turner?
I can't hear him.
You look like you transition. You're in your office, aren't you, Pastor Turner?
Yeah, that's not.
It looks like it's.
Tell him type his message in the comments. Tell him. Type it in the chat.
What you're saying, Pastor Turner? We having some good dialogue.
Tell him put it in the chat so we'll know what he's saying.
Why we can't hear him? What's going on?
I don't know, because one time before I had this happen, this was before I started a live and the person was able to get the volume right. So I'm gonna have to check in after we finish tonight with someone with technology experience, because that's not my area, to find out if it happens again, what I could possibly do or advise the person to do. I'm so sorry that has happened.
He doesn't have it on his end, does he?
Be sure to check your volume, Pastor Turner, to make sure you're not on mute, because we see you clearly. We see you talking, but we can't hear you. We can't hear you. You talking away too.
Wow.
Okay, my final question is, what advice would you give a real estate agent who may be new or may have been selling houses, I don't know, 5 to 10 years, and they're just not having a good quarter? It just seems like there have been 2 or 3 months that have passed and they hadn't sold anything, or it just has been slow. What is some advice you could give that person for them not to just throw in the towel and say, I'm done with real estate?
Well, I would say that, hang in there. It's just like anything else. It's a numbers game. And I tell people, you have to have structure. You have to have a plan. And so every day I time block. So every day I'm making calls at a certain time of day where I'm calling people that either I met in the grocery store, people I met in the gym, so it's a people's business. So you have to connect with people. And the more people you connect with, the more opportunities you get to gain a client. Make those phone calls. When people reach out to you, you instantly call them back. My family, my sons, they're like, Mama, you text people back too fast. It's like, I'm just trained to do that. Like if I get a call, I mean, back in the day when I was getting leads from Zillow, like if you didn't call them back instantly, you lost a client. And so I was trained, call people right back, text them right back, because if you don't call them or text them back, somebody else will. And so you have to just train yourself to be responsive. You have to train yourself to pick up the phone. For those new people, make a list of everybody you know. That's called your sphere of influence. Make a list of everybody you know and pick up the phone and call them. Hey, this is Arizona White. I'm new in the real estate industry. If you know anyone that's looking to buy or sell a home, please think of me. And you have to do that 1,000 times a day, sometimes to get 2 clients. And so you have to be disciplined. You have to have structure. You have to have a plan, and you must be consistent and stick to it. Yay, we can hear Pastor Turner.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, we hear him.
We can hear you, Pastor Turner.
I apologize. I'm telling you, this technology, pray my strength in the Lord.
That's okay.
Okay, well, good.
So you got to play catch up now. It's your turn.
Yeah. The last 2 questions I asked, I'm so glad to have you join back with us. Your sound is right. The last 2 questions I asked that Miss White and Miss Green chimed in on was advice to someone looking to venture out into the real estate world. What advice would you give them? And the final question was, what advice would you give someone that may be a real estate broker and they're just not having a good quarter? They're not selling the houses like they thought that they would.
I think the first question is at least answer what I would give advice on is make sure that's your passion. I mean, real estate is my passion. I've been doing it for over 30 years now, and it's a passion of mine. And there's going to be some peaks and valleys that you experience. And I heard not Miss
White.
Green. Yeah, why? Yeah, I heard that you, Miss White, you said that you know, if you can make it through the 2008, you can make it through anything. And I agree with you 100%. If you can sustain yourself through that turmoil that we went through, because it's going to tell you what you're made of. And if you can make it through that and understand how to maneuver, and sometimes you got to move some stuff, slow some stuff back, move it around, whatever it takes to be creative. It's gonna. You are made for the real estate market if you made it through that venture. And so I would say make sure that it's your passion. And I'm gonna say this in any business. If you're not passionate about it, it's not when you have some difficult times, if you have some difficult times, but when you have them.
That's right.
And you can put it on a business plan. You can do whatever you want. You can be well educated, but if you don't use your common sense and your common economic skills, you will fail in the business, in any business. And so I encourage you to read, to always network for in different times of the years that we're having ups and downs. Learn new strategies, learn how to engage and network with people, what's selling, what's not selling. You got to be creative. You can't just stay with one line stream product. You got to be creative and innovative, and be willing to spend money on yourself. I don't care if it costs $10,000. Begin fly over across to somewhere to go to some seminar, because when you come back, if you implement those strategies, $10,000 is just like going to school. And so you got to forever educate yourself. So that's one thing. So what was the second question again?
Advice to a real estate agent who is not having a good quarter, meaning they're just not selling houses like they thought they would. Instead of multiple opportunities coming, I guess in a couple of months, they've gotten one or zero. What advice would you give that person for them not to give up and then throw in the towel and try to find something else to do?
I think be able to get with another agent that can mentor them, that's successful. I think mentors are the key. And somebody that's willing to take the time to teach you, to build you, to show you and encourage you. I think that's the best way to do any business. But for a real estate broker, I think that you got to have a good mentor. I mean that's right. See, success begot success. So if you don't have anybody that's successful and creative, then you're not going to learn any more than what you learn right now. So you've got to be creative and get with somebody that can help you take it to the next level. That's
right. Yeah. Yeah. And if I could piggyback off of Pastor Turner, I heard someone say that anyone that's great in anything has a coach. If you think about athletes have coaches. Oprah Winfrey has a coach. Anybody that is great and excels in any area of any business, they have a coach. And so if you're going to be great, get a coach. Even when when it comes to your fitness, if you want to be great, you get a personal trainer. So anytime you want to excel in anything, get someone to coach you along, and that will push you further, because you only know so much. You only know what you know. But if you can partner with someone who knows more than you, they'll push you further than you ever thought you could go. So that was great, Pastor Turner.
Yeah. Sorry, I lost connection.
And let me say this, and too, if you're not willing to take risks, try new things, then maybe you need to stay at a 9 to 5, because a business person is a risk taker. Whether it's, I remember, and I'm gonna give you a testimony. I bought my first home probably over 30 years ago, and my investment home, and it was terrible. It went terrible. I built my first home. It went terrible. And I wanted to give up in the market. I wanted to quit. And I didn't want no more to do with real estate. Let me keep my 9 to 5 and I'm good. But I'm telling you, the wealth that is created is going to come from entrepreneurs. And everybody has an entrepreneur spirit to do something. And so, but if you're going to do that, you got to set a goal. Don't make them too big for yourself. set small goals, reach those goals, and begin to keep moving out. But don't give up. Steve Harvey said this in lastly. He said, if you're not willing to take risks, he said that you're going to be where you're at. But if you're willing to take risks and jump off, it will be the least you'll ever be if you can understand how to learn how to fly. He said, at some point, your chute's going to open. You might get some scar wounds, but those scar wounds is what makes us who we are. And if it had not been for bad decisions and willing to get back up and try again, I would never be where I'm at today, and I would never be able to help somebody else move to that next level as well. So I just wanted to add that.
Right.
Well, thank you all for chiming in tonight. A great panel. Mr. Turner, Mrs. Green, Ms. White, thank you all for your wealth of knowledge. We had a fun-filled time discussing real estate.
Thank you.
Some great tips to give people that are watching that want to invest in a home, or even any real estate agents that may have been watching. Just some tips to help them along the way. Thank you all for your time, and thank you again to everyone that chimed in with us on tonight. Be sure to share and like the video. We'll be coming again next month, June. So look out. Our topic will be fitness, getting fit for the summer. So look out for that. And thank you all again for joining in and tuning in with us on tonight. I learned a lot.
Thank you,
Dr. Yasmin.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Ms. Green.
Dr. Yasmin, someone asked a question about how much schooling is required. You would need 70 course in the state of Georgia.
Please chime in on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so someone that wants to get into that, who do they need to contact, or they're like real estate schools, and how does that work in the state of Georgia? What do they need to do?
There are several real estate schools in the state of Georgia. You have one in Macon, Georgia, one in Robbins, Milledgeville. They're all surrounding. So they can always go to Google and put in a real estate school in the state of Georgia and make a selection from there.
Okay.
So you can also go online as well. So if they don't want to go to a brick and mortar school and sit down in a classroom setting,
exactly,
there's several places to go to get online classes. Georgia MLS is one great place where you can go and get a list of those schools that offer online classes. So it's www.georgiamls.com, and you can just search for training or pre-licensing course, and they'll give you that information there. But there's a ton of online classes now, and they're very reasonable. Some online classes are about $200, $250. So it doesn't even cost a whole lot to get started. So it's a very great career if you're willing to put in the work.
And the classes are, like she said, Ms. White was saying, you can go to Zoom classes. And I went this past summer through Metro Brokers, and I was able to get a discount through Groupon. And so that was even more of a savings. So because I'm becoming a real estate instructor. So that's, I mean, they have several classes that you can choose from.
Okay. Thank you all for that insight and that information.
Yes, thank you.
And y'all have a great evening.
Thank you.